audience catch up to what you're saying. And that's what it's called comic timing for a reason, because they don't just blow through joke after joke after joke or story. They pause purposely to let the audience not only catch up to the words, but let it sink in for a second. If you're just ripping through the next sentence, they've already forgotten what you just said because they're already moving on to what you're, if you, that's why I talked about that less is more principle. Sometimes it's better. Jake the Snake was king at promos for that because he wouldn't be rah, 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 rah. He was listen closely. Yeah, you're like, what? I'm listening. Oh, you're drawn in, right? So pausing is, especially early on, it's great to pace yourself and slow down, like Joey said.
And right, Coach Bob, slowing down when I'm speaking so fast and I don't know what I'm going to say next. I should slow down because it gives me a chance to think about what I'm going to say next. So yeah, I always like to think about when I'm watching those wrestlers and they just start cutting their promo and then they stop and they're breathing, right, and you're thinking, oh, this is part of the promo. I always thought, oh man, they are thinking, because I'm trying to do these promos too. I'm thinking they're slowing down to be like, okay, slow down, get your shit together. What's your next line? Let's hit it. And that'll help you out if you take the opportunity to take your time. You won't stumble over your words. You won't stutter. I didn't put the homework until late, and I think it was like early this morning, maybe 8 o'clock this morning. I had tongue twisters on there. I want you to do those tongue twisters. There's about 26 of them, I believe. And do this exercise and speak it out loud. It'll really help you enunciate your words. And it'll also help you with your timing and slowing down a little bit. So I want you to take that opportunity because we're going full bore into these promos, and we'll be in this all next week, and then even the following week, the final week of this class. We're gonna still be into promos. Um, Bob, did you get a chance to see any of these promos, either Joe's or Hellman's?
I have not yet because I told
Okay.
everybody I basically, because I was starting character class on Monday, and because this is really the first like foray of like try these types of promos where you're talking about yourself. I gave them essentially till Monday to get them in, and allowed me to like I will absolutely go through each one of them and give written critiques as well because I want to make sure I catch up. It's great to see people already getting them done. That's
Yes.
fantastic. Go get them.
So
But that's even better.
what that means is that we're going to have three promos that will be the homework assignment for this weekend, right?
Yep.
You're going to do your 1 minute promo from the homework from last night, and then tonight's homework is going to be that same promo, in a happy emotion, and an angry emotion. Okay, so we're going to have three promos to turn in, um, and right, the more practice, the better. But who else? Let me see. Owen turned one in. I dug it. I dug it as a character promo. I see that the character definitely has potential. Right. I think you turned it in before the assignment was asked. So right. So if we're ever going to give an introduction, think about the world that we live in today. Like Instagram only lets you post a 60-second video on the feed, right? You can go to Instagram TV, but on the feed it's 60 seconds. So people are looking for little short content snacks, and try to fit that in. Right. We also are going to get to, I think, right, this is what Bob may do, I think, is to put it in 15, put it in 30 seconds, and put it in the same promo. You know what I mean? And yeah, we will be doing that, running into that next week. So,
Yeah, that'll be part of next week's homework.
right, how can you? So, whoever did a 3 minute promo, you're going to have to figure that out in 15 seconds and get it across, right? So, just really preparing you and helping you out. And we'll give you the tips, and the tools and help that you guys may need, in order to do this. But yeah, Owens, I thought it was really good and had potential for the character aspect of it. I look forward to seeing your non-character promo, so I can start working from there. Javier turned in two promos. Um, and right, I think that it was. I thought they were really good. I felt that 100% that they were from the heart. Right, let's shorten it down. And then I think I let you know, we were the first one. I let you know, hey, you gotta hit that 60 seconds. See, 2 minutes would be like, whoa, that's double promos right there. So make sure now to fit what you said in 2 minutes into 60 seconds, even with slowing down. That doesn't mean speed up and fit it all in there in 60 seconds. No, that means editing a lot out because we still want those pauses. right? We want those timing, those timing cues to let people register what you're saying. Okay. Joshua City had a great promo. I like the character. I really dug it. I think my biggest critique for your promo was what we're all doing when we start these promos. We I think I even did it. I look at myself as opposed to looking at the actual camera lens, and I think that was my biggest critique on it. And I think that it might have been a minute. What how long was your promo, Joshua?
It was about a minute.
Okay.
Maybe I think it was a minute three only because I added a little extra like ending name or whatever. But I agree with you on that. I also felt I looked away from the camera, or I don't know where I was looking, and I don't know why.
It sometimes I don't know if you were timing it. Sometimes we will try our eyes will wander and look to a clock or whatever. And we'll work on that today a little bit. But I thought it was really good.
I talked about that last night or yesterday. Yeah, I talked about that yesterday where
Okay.
I was like, remember last class where we were doing critiques? And I'm like, I kept feeling like everybody was reading something to the right. Oh,
Mhm.
it's because they're looking at themselves. And I talked
Right.
about the reality show trick where they put like a piece of fluorescent tape with an arrow to tell you, like,
That's a
the
great one.
producers over here, they're asking you questions, but you have to look at the camera because that's what they're filming for the show. So it's weird to hear the question over here and be like, this is what happened today on the, whatever. So if you have to even like take a post-it note and block your visual of what you're looking at so you don't
Yeah.
accidentally look at it, trust your senses, because at the end of the day too, like if you're on television, you don't get to see yourself in a mirror to see if you're on camera. You have to just talk to a lens without any sort of like, am I in frame? I mean, you have producers and people with the camera to tell you where to stand, and if they see that you're wandering off, they'll tighten you up. But if you're just doing promos in the camera for whatever, and your eyes keep cheating to that view of yourself, see if you can do it by blocking it. Just trust your shoulders or wherever your head frame is to make sure you're on camera. But try your best not to look at that. You'll
Yeah.
get there. It's practice. That's all it is.
And it's the new era, right? The evolution in professional wrestling, like filming something with your phone and submitting it. If you get flown into Texas to wrestle, right, and you're in California or wherever you're at, they're not gonna fly in the production to film your promo. They're gonna say, hey, film it yourself on your 4K phone and send it to us. So it's kind of like the new way pro wrestling is being done. Back when I started, 25 years ago, that wasn't even, you didn't have to think about that. It was looking to the red dot. That was it. Looking to the red dot. Okay, looking to the red dot. And there was nothing you didn't look at yourself, So it's a totally different game when it comes to filming these promos now. So let's start to think about that, and that'll definitely help us out. I like that idea, Coach, with that fluorescent post-it note or something like that'll
I
help.
do it to myself all the time. I did it for my podcast, my video cast. I literally had just like this little double arrow to make sure I was staring there instead of like, yeah, so I'm talking over here. And you're like, who's over there that you keep talking to?
Yeah, and it'll happen, right? And it's okay to make mistakes. I don't expect anyone to be perfect here. This is going to be a process. You're gonna even after the 7 days of doing promos, like you're gonna think, oh, we're all a lot better, right? But man, can you imagine after doing this for 5 years in professional wrestling and learning who you are in a ring and learning what your character is? It's probably gonna be completely different, And this is a process, and we've seen it happen.
Joey, tell them about my first promo.
Oh, the, can you believe Bob was nervous, right? Bob, but I mean, he was nervous and he was in a suit, right? We look at Halston Body. I don't know if anyone's friended him or followed him on Instagram. And Halston Body is just this loud character, very flamboyant. And Bob, when he first did it, he had a suit on, and I don't even think you had a goatee or anything, right? Just a mustache.
No, I had a beard.
Did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I had the curly mustache at the time.
Yeah, I often tell them about my first promo, which was a sit down promo. And man, they were just really trying to pull something out of me. And I'd be like, yeah, like, that was my response, my moment to get myself over. And it was just, yeah, sure, that sounds cool.
Right.
You know?
Well, I also blew through the time too. There was like literally Sylvia and Joey were like, okay, you got 1 minute. Or it wasn't even a minute, it was like 30 seconds. And I'm like, they're like, time. I'm like, are you serious? I'm not even halfway done. Like, it was so mind blowing. But literally, I talked about that yesterday. It was like my memory sense came back about talking about how I worked in radio and the fact that for 4 to 5 hours a night, I had to cut promos all night long, at least 4, 5, 6 times an hour to cut into a song and talk about what's coming up next or keep the audience going. And it wasn't 30 seconds. It was like 7 seconds, 12 seconds, 42 seconds. Like, I mean, I remember Jack and Diane by John Cougar Mellencamp had like a 37-second intro. I could read the phone book. I was like, listen, we've got, here's the phone. I could talk about everything. Oh, Jack and Diane, it's coming up. Like, so just clicked in my head. I'm like, yeah, you should be able to do this. You used to do this for 3 years straight for, 5 hours a night at 5 days a week. Get it into your head, Austin. Bam, bam, bam. And then that's when it registered. Like, right, you got to be able to do that again.
Yeah, absolutely.
But first day, I was like, I don't know what I'm saying. Oh, what? Oh, it's over. But yeah.
But yeah, good job on that one on the character. I look forward to seeing Joshua's non-character promo, and then we'll hit it tonight, and we'll get another chance to do it on the video too. Let me see here.
Coach
Yes,
Jerry,
sir.
real quick, just to make sure I'm clear. I mean, I'm going through our syllabus, but I also want to make sure we're not doing any promos in class tonight, or are we?
We actually are. We will be doing promos, and then next week we'll start your official curriculum.
Right. So what are the promos we're doing tonight?
We're going to be doing the same as the homework.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's going to be the same as the homework. So this will actually be a live run, right? It'll be a little bit more nerve-wracking, but then we also can now go back to the to our video and film it and submit the homework with the critiques that we get tonight. So
perfect. So basically, this will be last night's homework. We're doing them live now as like a test run, even if you've done them before and everything. Okay, perfect.
Absolutely.
That's what I wanted to make sure I was clear on, because I'm like, we're doing promos, but I don't know what we're doing. What are the?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean submitted a promo. I think you hit your minute. You seemed right. I think towards the end, it seemed very monotone, same level of what you were saying, right? We want to, in when we're doing these promos, we want to be able to, right, just like in a match, bring people low, and then after we bring them low, we want to just start making that comeback and bring the voice up and bring everything up. We want to have that gear switches, same as in our matches. We also want to have that in our promos, and I do understand. I'm a lover, like straight out, I'm a lover of Road Warrior promos. I love these motherfuckers yelling. That's me. I love Stone Cold yelling Austin 316 says I just whooped your ass. I love that type of promo. I love it. I get it. Some people are Jake the Snake style. Not right, going to Flavors of Ice Cream, not my cup of tea, but let me remind you, whenever I say bring the energy, when Jake the Snake brings his promo, he brings that intensity, and that intensity has energy. Okay, so remember that it's not just a low monotone level that we want to stay on. We want to have those ebbs and flows in our promo as in a match. So I look forward to seeing it again tonight, Sean. Alexander had a promo. It wasn't bad. I got to say right off the bat, my biggest critique was it was about right here. It was a little bit far. So let's bring that up. I would say Bob might know better. I always say maybe about the elbows up might be about where you want to be. Is that about right, Bob?
I mean, there's a rule in TV news about headroom, and it's like there's like I think it's like 4 to 6 inches. But at the end of the day, again, I talked about Death Calhoun. Every promo he did was very intense. Like he was, peeking in on you, and it made this whole weird energy to it. But you don't want to be so far back where you're like, hey, over here. There is kind of, if you want to cut off your head, you're allowed. But remember that you got to stay within a certain frame. So yeah, it just depends on. Make sure too, if you're doing any movements too, don't, do this. Make sure you're able to. You could talk like this and then go, you know what I mean? So that's why you're allowed to take as many takes as you want, especially this early on.
And Alexander, so you talked about, right? You said my health is horrible, and I'm skinny. Okay, so that's okay to say that, but as soon as you bring yourself down, I want you to now bring yourself back up and talk about the passion and desire and the will that you have to become a professional wrestling referee. It's okay to bring it down, but then I want you to bring it right back up. I mean, that's like the classic um, Ric Flair promo, right? He builds them up before he cuts them down. And thinking about that, right? Because I think that's a little bit reverse what I'm talking about. But it's a point of these promos, right? So let's build our opponents up before we cut them down. If you're going to cut yourself down, if you can cut yourself down, then I want you to do bring yourself back up. Okay. And the reason Ric Flair would do that, right? He's going to build his opponents up is because if I say, Alexander Smith, you're a terrible wrestler, you're skinny and your health is terrible, this, that, and the other, but I'm wrestling you. I didn't really sell the match. Bob's like saying, well, this is the popcorn match. Let's go get some popcorn because this guy said he's just going to mop him up. He's got bad health. The other guy agreed, I have bad health and I'm skinny. What's the point? So what I would do is I would talk you up. I would have to talk you up and then I would chop you down to sell that match and get people to say, well, man, I want to see this, man. He's telling me Alexander Smith is skinny, but he's smart and he's got right. What's the $1 million man? He never had the greatest muscles in the world, but we all made us believe that he had all the money, he had the greatest training and a 24-hour trainer next to him in professional wrestling. At least that's how I thought he was hanging and banging with the likes of Rick Rude and Hulk Hogan and all these guys, because he didn't look like he matched. But that's what I thought. So that's what I would think about, and we'll get another chance tonight to do that. And I think Kristen submitted one. I thought it was really good. I think you went a minute 9, and I will be a little bit harder on you and say you know better. You got to shave that off. I'm gonna say minute 3 will be fine. For network TV, hit 60 seconds. Minute 3 for me in independent wrestling, yeah, that's fine. 57 seconds is fine. 55 seconds is fine. When we start going past that minute 3, we're going a little bit overboard because network is going to say we're cut. We're going to the small box right now, and your promo got cut off. That's it. We didn't hear you. Okay. But yeah, I thought it was good. I think towards the end, I think I talked about the hell line seemed a little more character driven, but maybe that's because I know your character. So that's why I said it's debatable. It's not that somebody from the heart wouldn't say that either. So, but not bad job at all. Did I talk about everybody that actually submitted a promo for their homework? Did I talk to everybody? Okay, so then I expect so we got a lot of work to do, but it's not too much. It's really 1 minute promo on Friday, a 1 minute promo on Saturday, submit a 1 minute promo on Sunday. It's not that hard. So we want to do that. And then I guess we're gonna take the opportunity to go ahead and get into it. And I think I told some of you, I said I'll do an example of what I want to see. And all right, I'm not a promo guy. I was a guy who uh who had a manager. And my manager did all my talk, right? Because here we go. Barbara Walters had a one-word answer. So they gave me a manager. He's a good wrestler. He looks great, but man, he can't talk to save his life. All right, we'll give him a manager. And that's what may happen to some of us if we can't talk. That's going to be the savior of us sometimes. You need that manager. But when I had a manager, he helped me the best he could to help me learn to talk. And how could I not when I'm next to this guy who's just chattering? He just wouldn't stop. He just wouldn't stop. He always had something to say. So it helped me out a little bit. So what I plan on doing is just cutting this promo and then practicing. Let's see. I don't know. Let's see how many times it may take for me to try to hit 60 seconds because we're going to have this opportunity. Coach Bob will do that. Yeah, we're gonna have this opportunity, and I think, Coach, do we want to? You don't have to do it for me, but do we want to give them the 15 seconds, and then 5 seconds is like, hey, you have to end now. I think we want to do that with them, right?
I think that'll be the training wheels because I don't want to be like, here's the deep end, good luck. And then 3 minutes later, they're still talking. You're like, brother, come on.
So when you see this, that's going to mean, hey, you got 15 seconds to the end of the promo, and then we start doing this. That means it's 5 seconds to end, right? This doesn't mean, oh my God, I got to hurry up and say everything. That means you got to end it in 15 seconds. Just relax. So
In a perspective moment in stand-up comedy, if you're at a club and you're given a 7-minute set, they'll tell you when your light's on. Your light's on at 6. You've got 1 minute when you see the light on. Now, one of the rules in stand-up comedy is you don't acknowledge the light because it's almost like, oh well, I'm being shuffled off the stage, everybody, so you better start wrapping it up with me too mentally. So you never really want to go up, I got my light, everybody, bye. You want to naturally go out, so don't acknowledge your light by going, like getting panicked because you're the diamond, like, if you have, that's how you're going to learn how to self edit, so you can get to that last, remember the last beat, right? Like, what was the last thing I was going to say? Let's just get to that, because I know I only have 15 seconds and it'll go by faster than I can imagine. So sometimes you just have to edit yourself and forget that you're going to say that middle part that you thought was so clever. That's just going to happen, especially with live, especially when you're live, Oh man.
And here, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
This is the place to make a mistake. This is the place to shit the bed and say, "Damn, it sucked." I get it, right? We're in front of our peers, and we don't. No one wants to shit the bed in front of their peers, but it's okay. It's okay as long as we're better tomorrow on the promo. Then we're on our way. You know what I mean? So don't get too discouraged on these promos, because I can guarantee everyone that submitted one has been better than me. So I'll try to do it and do one right now. And I'll talk about myself, right? I'll talk about myself from the heart. Bob, you want to time it? You don't have to give me the second. I mean, I'm supposed to be the man. I should know how to hit
You
it.
want to go out without a signal? I'll give it to
Give
you.
me the signal. Give me the
All
signal.
right.
Yeah, give me this. I'll keep it in my peripheral so that way.
Right, but that way you can at least show, like, this is what you do at 15 seconds,
Right.
instead
There
of
we go.
panicking and running and going, oh crap, now what? Like,
So okay,
cool.
so give me the go, Bob.
All right. And by the way, in broadcasting, I don't know if you knew this, when you're
Yes.
getting a promo signal from a cameraman, I mean, this is usually pre-produced so that they know. They have to get the camera up to speed. So that what they do is they go in 3, 2, but they never say the one, because they don't want to catch, what they don't want to do is have sound catch the end of the person going 1. So there's like a gap while their film is speed, their audio is ready. So they go 3, 2, and that's where you can go. Okay, so just give it a beat, and then you're ready to go. So I'll do the same thing.
I was
All
like,
right.
it was like, is he telling me right now? Did I miss my cue already?
No. I'm just telling everybody. It's just a thing in broadcasting. So if you may have, I don't know what anybody knows. So I always try to teach. Here's a nugget of knowledge,
Good.
just in case you're like, why didn't he say 1? Or if you're having to do that for yourself, even, because there are times where if you're doing a promo, you might have to go, all right, everybody, I'm ready to go. Here we go. In 3, 2. Listen up, everybody. You know what I mean? So just know that for the future. All right, here we go.
Yeah, here we do it.
In 3, 2.
My name is Joey Munoz, and I have a different story than probably most people about professional wrestling. I love it with a passion. I really do. You really can't deny that I love professional wrestling with a passion, but it was never on my dream list. It was never on a bucket list of something I wanted to do. At 14 years old, the only thing I wanted to do was actually hang out with my Uncle Supreme. Whether it be playing basketball or going to the movies or going to the comic book store or even professional wrestling, and the time came and I actually got a chance to be in the ring and do this wrestling. But I never thought or dreamed that I would be a professional wrestler. I thought we were just messing around on the weekends in a wrestling ring, but I actually got the opportunity to live my life as a professional wrestler. Now I couldn't imagine my life being any different. Why do I love professional wrestling? It's because it consumes my soul. Did I hit the time?
Like 1 second over.
So
that's it. But that was
um,
great, though. So that's what, yeah, 1 second over is not death.
I think just speaking from the heart, you can't go wrong. I'm just telling, and mine's a little different, right? I'm telling you my story of how I got into it. But at the same time, let's tell a story. Let's visually paint a picture with our words. Let's describe it. Take us, right? Like, use the words of going. I could have even added more, but it's 60 seconds. Maybe if I had 3 minutes, I could go into more detail. You you know, so we'll all get that opportunity. and I just want to hear just really from the heart. I'm going to be looking at I'll be looking at your facial expressions and your eyes. Um, does it come up in the real promo? Yeah, not as much as a character-driven promo. But here definitely want to see that, and I want to see what you guys can deliver from the heart. So any pointers or anything you want to give before we get started?
Um, yeah, you said it best because I talked about that a bunch yesterday about visually painting the picture with your words. Don't rely on crutches. I mean, there's a million wrestling cliches, and I talked about how you don't want to try to do a promo that you've heard before in your head, but it's there. It'll come out because you've heard it and you remember it. So try not to like pull up those catchphrases and those wrestling cliche words that just come out of your head, like "Let me tell you something," and those types of things. So right. I mean, that's you got to paint the picture, and there's one other thing I talked about with something I learned in broadcasting school, especially if you're in a studio doing radio, you're talking to 100,000 people on a live mic in Milwaukee or Chicago. They're not in front of you. You're not on a stage, so you have to visualize yourself talking to a giant audience. And especially that's going to come into play with pre-produced promos. I mean, you're in your bedroom or your living room or outside. You're not standing in front of a wrestling crowd. You have to imagine that you are, though. That's the point of looking at the camera and remembering you're speaking to them. So, we'll talk about that more in character development as far as like how to remember that you're speaking to the nosebleeds, the top of the stadium, right? Make it bigger, create the environment with your words. And that's part of painting the picture. You're not just going, "Hey, want a secret?" You're like, let me tell the world who I am and what I'm about. And it, you can make it conversational and figure out how to do that. Whether it's how do I talk to my friend? How do I sit at a bar and talk to somebody? How do you create a conversation piece like Joey just did?
And I know we often say, hey, just paint a picture visually, right? Well, so what am I asking you? How do you paint this? You say in this little warehouse in Coldwater Canyon in Van Nuys, California, where this 14 by 14 ring stood. That's where I got my opportunity to step in the ring for the very first time. And you just painted. So you start thinking about, I could have even added the Jack in the Box that was down the street on Coldwater Canyon to really show you, well, man, I am start putting it together where it's in a little warehouse. That's a little ring. It's not even the 16 by 16. It's even smaller than that, Then you could just, what color's the mat? What color's the ropes? By the time you know it, you telling that story, you've already killed 20 seconds, 30 seconds. And now, right, getting your point across with less is more by just visually painting that story. It draws people in. You talk about the fire that burns inside because the dagger that you got in your back when your partner super kicked you and threw your head through the barber shop window, shards of glass going into your head, blood pouring down, right? You just start describing it. And I'm still talking about that super kick through the barber shop, the same thing, right? So we just want to describe what we're talking about. Just takes a little bit of practice, getting used to it. Some of us have the gift of gab. It's going to be a little bit easier. Some of us don't, and it's going to take a little bit of training to do it. But we will be better at our promos by 7 days than we are today. I guarantee you guys. So with a show of the virtual hands, I want to see who wants to do a promo. And go ahead and put that virtual hand up on the gimmick so I can have everybody. And it starts putting it in order for me. So I got Sean, El Primo Henio, Keenan, Hellman, and it looks like all the way down, so on and so forth. So Coach Bob, are you ready? You
I,
ready to
I'm
hear these?
I am here for it.
All right, I will get my timer also. So when we start, you can either look at any of our faces, mine or Bob's, and that'll help you out. So 15. This means 15 seconds left. This means 5. That means it's go home now. We gotta go. We gotta go. Okay. All right. So we got Sean first. Sean, why don't you step up, take yourself off of mute, and let me get my timer ready also.
And I'll do
Um,
the 3-2. I'll take the
okay, yeah,
lead on the 3-2s.
absolutely, Bob. That sounds great.
All right, here we go. And 3, 2.
Greetings, Santino Brothers potential wrestlers. My name is Sean Singh. You know what? Back in 2004, I first got introduced to wrestling seeing Brock Lesnar and The Rock tear each other apart. I always thought to myself, these guys are larger than life. Will I ever be anything like these monsters? The years later, I joined the wrestling team at high school, and I pretty much dominated everybody in my weight class. I lifted my weights, I did all the cardio, I did whatever was necessary, and I dominated everybody that came my way. And then the wrestling dream, it kind of left me, but then, it returned, and now I plan on dominating everybody again. I plan on stepping into the ring and then just tearing everybody apart because I am capable of being a world champion.
Okay. I'm writing
Yeah,
down times too.
I got 51 seconds. And let's also remember, I would rather, and everybody would rather you go shorter than over. I can work with shorter. I can go and say, okay, well, Premio Henio is next, and he was 7 seconds short. So Premio, you can go 7 seconds over. I can fill that time. But once you go over, I gotta start, right? We've all heard it at WrestleMania. Why did this match only get 3 minutes? Well, somebody early on went over, and they killed someone's pretty much WrestleMania moment because Taker still needs his 30. You know what I mean? They're not gonna cut his time; they're gonna cut the new guy's time. So I just wanted to say that before I started on the critiques. One thing on that one, Sean. It's okay to have your eyes. Your eyes were moving, but as you came down, you were looking. I think you were maybe looking here. Then at one point you looked down. I know when you were looking up, that was just like you kind of talking in the air, but you kind of had two focuses on the computer. So I don't know which one it was. Let's make sure to, like, when we come back and focus in on the actual lens, would be the biggest critique. And I thought this one was a lot better than what you submitted. I felt it was just you just speaking from the heart, Bob, what did you think?
Couple things. Yeah, I got a slice of you. I got a slice of, oh, he's an athlete who actually, he was I see the origin story starting to show up. But you also said, I started counting. I started like writing little hashtags. You said, 5 times. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. You didn't even notice it. It's just something that it's almost like, you know what I'm saying? Now you write it down for yourself. Your goal for your next promo and your homework is not to say, because as a smartass like I am, my first question is, no, I don't know. Tell me. I have a friend named Joey, my friend Corey, who's a pro wrestling manager. He's got a normal verbal crutch like that, where he's like, and I go, no, Corey, I don't know. Tell me. And he's like, shut up, So just avoid that, because realistically, if you have a minute, you just said 10 words that are pointless. So if you have something important to say that's maybe another sentence that's 10 words long, you just wasted that time. Now, mind you, you went way short. So now if you went 9 seconds short and you took out 5, 6 you suddenly have 15 more seconds to put more impact at an ending instead of cutting yourself short. So think about that. I think there was a point too where you repeated yourself about coming and destroying everybody. You kind of went over that a little, like you said it impactfully the first time, and then you used it again because you're like kind of running out of ideas of what to say about yourself a little bit, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. So again, you're on the spot first time, you'll build that out. That's the best part about going short, is that you now have something to flesh out, and you can add something to the end or in the middle to like make it more of, paint the picture even more. So yeah.
Yeah, not a bad job. So I definitely take these pointers, and so when we get that homework tonight, let's go ahead and add that in there. Okay. And then if we can get through everybody, we can, if we can keep doing them and get a second chances for some people. It looks like Premio Henio is going to be next, followed by Keenan.
All right. Ooh, look at him. He's all winded up. I love this. Listen, you've been around the block, kid. You better
Yes.
show them how it's done. That's how I want to hear. All right, here we go. In 3, 2.
When I was 13 years old, I started watching professional wrestling. And I missed the Attitude Era where it was the best wrestling happening, but yet I still fell in love with wrestling. I would be watching Jeff Hardy doing swanton bombs. I would be trying to copy Jeff Hardy, swanton bombing myself on my couch, starting to try to put a match together. And little did I know that I was training myself to be a professional wrestler. And fast forward to being 25 years old, I started my wrestling training at Santino Bros. And now 2 years later, I'm 27 years old, and I am a professional wrestler that is salty and frustrated. And I need to remember why I started this wrestling journey. Hi, my name is Jose Alberto Medina, and I am a future legend.
All right.
You 53. Well, I got about 53. What'd you
I
get?
got 54. Yeah.
50.
I was
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah, I
53,
got
54.
53.8. When you said you were salty, what else did you say? You were salty and salt. What'd you say?
Salty and frustrated.
Salty and frustrated. I probably would have liked to at that point to really see a change in your eyes, and maybe even your facial expressions, even turning that gear up a little bit toward after that point. But I liked it. I thought it was good. I learned more about you, to really be honest with you. And that's what I'm trying to get at is just really building that connection, right? Why do people like or follow anybody on social media? Is that you are an open book and you let us know who you are. I thought it wasn't bad at all. What did you think, Bob? Bob might be a little tougher on you because
No, actually, it was
should
really
know
good.
you should know better, young man.
No, it was really good. As a live promo, that I love the fact that you had a wrap up. You knew when you saw that signal that you knew you had to get to that. There's my ending, right? I knew. Again, it's not. It ties into what we talked about before, and you've been in this class before. You don't have to rely on a catchphrase. You just have to remember where you need to get to. So if you got to cut yourself off because you're like, I got one more sentence in me, but I only have 15 seconds. Let me just slow down a bit, make that last bit impactful. It's worth the go out. And again, you got 6 seconds left, so great. No, I mean, TV producers would be like, yes. The one thing if this was a recorded promo, I would absolutely kind of rearrange that front a little bit because I got a little confused on when they said, I used to watch Raw, they said it was the best era of wrestling, but there was a parsing of words that made it sound contradictory. Like they said it was the best thing of wrestling, and I was like, but it isn't? I don't know. Like
the Attitude Era, and I missed the best era of wrestling, but I still fell in love with it. And I would be watching Jeff.
Right, but that's where I think I got lost. I'm like,
Okay.
Are you saying that it is the best era of wrestling and that's why you're in wrestling and that's what you were into?
Dude, I was gonna say that I still fell in love when it wasn't the best wrestling era. Because I guess if you watch the Attitude Era and the wrestling when it was like 2008 to now, it kind of sucked, but I still fell in love with it.
Right, so that's where I got thrown off. So what I would do is love what you love, right? I grew up in the era of attitude. Raw is war in the Attitude Era, and despite what anyone says, that's where my heart belongs and what got me into this. You know what I mean? Because I kind of felt that's where I got thrown off because I thought you were like demeaning it, but I was like, well, why would you? That's what you're talking about is the era of Jeff Hardy and all these you know what I mean? So
I missed that.
Right.
Watched it late, so I should have said that. Yeah.
Right. No, but that's why I said for a live promo, I kind of glazed over and didn't care because you came back with such an impactful ending.
Okay.
So I kind of forgot that you sort of mixed the message there. But if you had a recorded promo, I would absolutely re-swizzle that to say like, no matter what any critic or wrestling jock has to say about, some internet jockey has to say about that era, that is where my heart belongs. Jeff Hardy. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, pull that passion out, even if there is kind of it's not the best wrestling in the world. It is to you. That's what's got you here, right? Like I grew up in the 80s cartoon era. It wasn't the best wrestling either, right? But there was some great wrestling. There was amazing wrestling from that era. But no one goes, oh God, I love the gobbledygooker. That's not, I mean, see what I'm saying? So yeah, own your passion, own what you love, and don't demean it. But yeah, other than that, yeah, great ending, great intensity, and you introduce yourself non-traditionally. You didn't, hi, my name is, like it's an AA meeting or this is your first day at work in school. So yeah, awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Bob. Thank you. Thank you, Hyde. All right, Keenan is next. Mr. Keenan.
There you go. All right, where are you, Keenan? There.
Here I am.
Take a breath. Yeah, if you need to stretch, stand up, get your shoulders ready. If you need to warm up for a quick second, by all means, and that goes for everybody. Take a deep breath if you need to. All right. In 3, 2.
My name is Keenan, and I spent a good majority of my life thinking I wasn't special. I didn't have a purpose. I didn't know what I was doing. I tried my hand at politics. That didn't work. I tried my hand at medicine. That didn't work. Law, no. I even thought I found something in acting, but that didn't work either. I was drifting. But then I felt a tingle. And that tingle turned into joy. And that joy turned into love. And that love turned into determination. And that determination turned into passion. But that tingle started with professional wrestling. I love professional wrestling. And that gave me grit. And that grit allows me to stand here today and tell you that that grit is what makes me, Keenan, special.
God damn, Keenan. That was really good. Keenan's like, man, I'm just going to show this guy live. I'll cut this promo. That was great. I love the gear changes on your promos. I love the facial expressions. I believed in your eye. I believed everything that you said. I love the way you were painting a picture, describing it, telling us about yourself. And I really dug it. I thought that it was, right, it could be debatable. Like, is it a little bit too character driven or gimmicky? And I thought no, because it just sounds and feels real, just feels real coming from you, just really feels real. And I really dug that one. Thought it was a fantastic job. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, there was natural passion. It wasn't over the top gimmicky. The one thing I would say to be cautious of is that you did a rolling grocery list, which you could save yourself from going from tingle, which turned into this, which turned into this, which turned into this, which turned into this. You did 5, right? You did.
Yeah, I had an order in my head, and then I forgot the order, and I was like, no. The last one has to be passion.
I forget. I'm blanking. My brain is. See, I'm out of sight, out of mind. Like I talked about yesterday. Were you here yesterday when I talked about how?
No, I wasn't here yesterday.
Okay, try not to memorize, because I will guarantee, especially a list. People do. There are 3 things I want to talk about. Number 1, you're gonna die in that ring next week because I'm gonna kill you. Number 2, I'm gonna take your girl and leave town. No, what was number 3? It'll happen. So be careful of grocery listing in your head, because you just proved exactly what I talked about yesterday. You'll forget the order, or you'll forget one of the things in that list. So the shorter that list is, or the most, like, I'm glad that you remembered the end, because that's the the wrap up. So, but yeah, because again, realistically, 2 of those 5 things didn't really matter, and you didn't bring the conversation back to those. The tingle turned into this, and the thing that turned into love, the love turned into. I was like, well, who cares about the second one? I already forgot it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, if you edit that, it gives you more room to talk about something else more impactful. So that we talk about, when we're going to talk about more about editing yourself, remember that if you slow down and you remember you can edit out those unnecessary things, it gives you more room to pause, right? Because if you have 5 extra seconds to take a breath and remember what your next line is, it helps instead of, hada, I got to keep talking. I got to make sure there's no gaps. Otherwise I got to make sure I'm saying all the words. And, you know what I mean? If you can, you'll learn how to self-edit. It's not going to be day one. Some people can do better than others. You got to just remember that slow down principle will help you forget to just stop rambling about. And I think you did another double list. The thing that turned into this, you did a second one, but it was only a 1 to a 2-parter. So just notes. You know what I
I
mean?
think that's a great point, Coach. Is that list? If it does get too long and you do forget it, I've done it where it throws you off, and it throws off that flow of your promo, and you maybe like throw a stutter in there, and sometimes it's kind of hard to get back on track. Also, Keenan, 59 seconds, like on the money, man, on the money. Good job, really good. All right, so let's see here. We have Hellman, Joshua, and Joe coming up next.
Hellman's been doing these. Come on, Hellman, bring the heat. All right, in 3, 2.
Fear is what defines me. Fear of failure, I suppose. But when I think introspectively, it's fear of success. I've always been afraid that if I actually gave it my all, I would never amount to what I feel I'm entitled. What is that? Well, that's always to be a WWE superstar. I, Austin Chadwick, have always assumed I would be a WWE superstar as if it was my birthright. But through all the trials and errors in my life, I've let one excuse after another pile up and take precedent or take priority no longer. From this moment on, I claim my future and I manifest what I see. From this moment on, I will become the WWE superstar. Fuck.
All right. Hey.
Not even. I'm like full of butterflies. I don't even know what it
Hey,
is, bro.
first of all, right, let's get that negative self-talk out of there. I thought this was a great promo.
It's the endings. I always screw up at the endings.
So okay, so that's right. That's what we gotta do. But I think you didn't like the ending. I think it got the job done. Let's look at that. Were you in this? Were you in the class last semester, or were you in the first one?
Right.
I took the first official one, not the pre.
So
like,
you weren't here. So you know what you're reminding me right now is last class we had Ninja Joe, Cyberpunk Joe Blue.
Jojo, yeah.
Yeah, and he was really like he had the gift. He could talk. He can get it out, but he just sounded so like a character, and he would just talk like that. And we said, like, I just want to hear you. I just want to hear it from you. You don't have to give me this. I was gonna do that. And I thought that the promos that you submitted were very like this Austin Chadwick character. What you just did now, I felt that you actually spoke from the heart. I felt that you were just talking to me and having a conversation with me.
trying.
Yeah, and I thought that it was a lot better. But don't cut yourself off, right? Just like if we mess up in the ring, and if I mess up in the ring and I'm working with Coach Bob and I'm working with him and I mess up, if I stop and go, damn, I messed up, and I tell everyone I messed up, now everyone knows it, right? We just listened to Darren Young talk about, hey, there was a little mess up, but what we do, we improvised here. We didn't stop and say we messed up, right? Keep going with it. Maybe you didn't hit the mark the way you exactly wanted it to. That's okay. That's why we're going to go back to the drawing board and fix it. So I thought it was out of the. So now that you've done 4 promos, you did 4, but I'll link or take the 3 of that you posted. So now that the 4th promo, I think definitely this one is your best one by far.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to also punch the do not be negative on yourself. Yes, I will tell you now, I have bruises on my face from being the self-flagellating, beat yourself up for the smallest, dumbest things. I am the king of that. Ask my husband, he will tell you. However, here's a lot of hope spots for you. One, I saw you dip in and out of character lining, and here comes Austin. You started off as a character, your first line, very like, I've practiced this opener. Great, you got my attention. Then I saw you kind of dip in and out of being real and coming back to the line, and being real and coming back to the line. So that's great that you're actually coming out of that, like, I gotta talk like a character. I talked about this yesterday about being a DJ, and I'm a DJ on the radio versus going, hey, I'm a DJ on the radio. Good morning. And we're on WLPX. Like, there's a big difference. So, it's great. What's another principle that Joey taught me is that it's if you're already out there and you're already a personality and you're already big, it's easier to pull you back than it is to try and push you into that realm of being over the top. So you've got the skill to be able to polish that voice, which is great. Okay. If you're having a struggle nailing the ending, there's your challenge, right? Write yourself an ending. Write yourself an ending and keep it in your pocket and use it. Start memorizing it. It doesn't have to be gimmicky. It doesn't have to be a catchphrase, but just know, just like what El Primo did. He knew when he saw that ending. Here's my ending. I know my name is El Primo. He brought it back in. So, in the interest of that teaching I had yesterday about how people remember the beginning and remember the ending, you didn't say your name until about like 30 seconds in, which is great because you led me on a journey to like find out more about who this person is. But for your own level of maybe just reminding the audience, you may want to just use that as, how can I fit my name in again at the end of that promo without saying it? My name again is Austin Chadwick or whatever. Just say, again, come up with a clever wordplay of like, and just in case you forgot.
I have a question.
So,
Does anyone else find it very awkward saying their name? I hate saying my name. It just doesn't come out well. I like stutter on it all
for
the time.
introductory
Yeah,
purposes
same.
and an intro level, you have to say your name because remember, the audience doesn't know who the fuck you are. They don't know who you are. So you have to treat yourself as a brand and you have to advertise who you are, because if you just walk out there and go, I'm going to kick this opponent's ass and I'm big and strong and I have feelings and I'll tell you all about them and and you walk off, everyone's going to look at each other and go, yeah, but who the fuck was that? Right? You have to learn how to set. Radio people have to do it all the time, right? Babalu in the morning here, right? They have to, your branding and your advertising. That's why it's called promotion. That's why it's called a promo. If you're just telling me a story, then just pick up a book and read me a page off of this novel because I'm just hearing the story. But you have to interject yourself in a way, and it could be conversational, right? Just like El Primo did. He stopped himself to remind the audience, my name is El Primo, right? Just to bring it back home. It's a branding technique. It is challenging. It's weird to talk in third person, right? But maybe that's a practice thing. Maybe you need to walk around the house one day being like, Austin Chadwick is going to have breakfast today, and Austin Chadwick is going to pour himself a bowl of cereal with some milk. And you know what type of milk Austin Chadwick likes? He likes 2%. Like that. This is what's called practice. It's weird to some people to talk like that. Now, it doesn't mean you start talking in third person in promos. You don't go, Austin Chadwick came from the streets of New York and Austin Chadwick. But to get yourself comfortable with saying your own name, you better, because you're a brand. And you got to say that name and sing it to the mountains and tell everybody who you are.
And it'll come to the point where you are Bret Hart or The Undertaker, and you don't have to say that. But right now, just like Coach said, nobody knows who we are. Nobody's trying to be somebody's, you know. All right, so we got Joshua, Joe, Kristen coming up next. Joshua's up first.
There it is. Perfect. All right. Get my timer back. Oh, and by the way, Austin Hellman, you owe us 5 seconds. How dare you? I'm kidding. All right. All right. 3, 2.
My name is Joshua Simmons, and I've been hurt by love. And for me, love is professional wrestling. I had it before. I had professional wrestling. I had chased that dream. I got trained by my hero. And in 2013, I had to give it up because of health reasons. And it sucked being told that I couldn't have the one thing that I wanted, that I had to go on. I had to find something else. I don't want to do that. And it brought me so much pain. But I went and I lived my own life. And I did all the other things on my bucket list. But there again was that one thing, and it was wrestling. And I wanted it. I wanted it so bad. And I decided, you know what? Nobody gets to stop me from having it. So I said, screw it. I'm getting back in, and ain't nobody stopping me.
All right.
Not a bad job
We're at
at
58
all.
to 59.
I really dug that one. I felt the emotion in it. I like the facial expressions. Um, I love the story that you told. I thought that was really good. I really dug it. And then right, seeing your character promo now lets me know you got some range here on these promos. And you probably gonna be really good at it if you're not already really good at the promos. But yeah, I really dug it. I like the facial expressions and the eye and the emotion that you brought out. I really connected with that, Coach.
Yeah, no, same thing. I mean, you had the eyebrows of sorrow, as I like to call them. If they go like this, that sort of,
Well, that's real.
right? No, I know, but I'm saying like your facial
Yeah.
expressions match the emotion. You
Yeah.
weren't flatlining it and just looking like, I'm Joshua and I'm telling you a story. Like you matched it with your face. Selling. Anybody heard of selling?
Yeah.
Joshua's selling, right? It's and so is Keenan. Keenan had that intense face and was, giving us face. So remember that. That also pro tip, sometimes making the facial expression will pull the emotion out. So in the interest of exaggerating and get your right, suddenly you become a character or it comes out of you. But if you're just staring at the camera and I'm really angry. This is terrible. I hate this food. It doesn't work. That's the whole selling the emotion, selling the drama, as they call it. The only other, I one nitpick, I got led to the water, but was not able to drink about who your hero was.
Okay.
You're like, I got to train under my childhood hero. And I was like, oh, and I was led like, well, who was it? Because that almost might paint a picture for somebody.
Okay.
By the way, who was it?
Lance Archer.
There you go, right? There may be a Lance Archer fan in the audience who's like, you trained under him? I was so like, I literally got led. I was like, oh, I can't wait to hear that. Who is it? Oh, fuck. He moved on. Yeah, no, not a problem. But just in the interest of talking about painting that picture, that is a connection point that you could draw people into you. Because if they respect and love Lance Archer, they'll be like, well, I like this guy. So think about that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because same thing for me. Like I could talk about like, who inspires me in this business, and then you name a name, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I love that guy." Conversational. So yeah, that was my only nitpick. But other than that, yeah, you could feel that passion. I was like, I felt terrible for you. Like, oh, this guy had it. He was touching the ring, and he had his hand on the briefcase of the Money in the Bank, and he fell off the ladder. But he's climbing back up. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good
right on.
job. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, Coach.
By the way, 58, 59 seconds.
Yeah, he was right on. He was right
there.
Here. Yeah. All right. Up next, Joe. Joe looks like he's next. Joe, Kristen, and Javier are the next three up. So let's start with Joe.
All right. In 3, 2.
I know what you're thinking, and the answer is yes. It is Joe Urell, killer comedian from Post Battle and Boston Public. It's me, and I know you're wondering, so why would you give all that fame and glory up to join the pro wrestling business? I'll tell you why. Because I'm the greatest wrestler to never get in the ring. Look at the sand. The sand can't lay flat, can't tap out. You can't flip my wheelchair over. You can't pin my shoulders to the ground. I can't be beat. That's why I'm here, to remind all you walking loser weights who the real king of the wheel throne is. Because even though I'm crippled, I ain't lame.
All right, Joe.
All right, Joe.
I thought, right, I think about rough two. You had a good promo of about 35 to 40 seconds, and then I think you were trying to fill time. My suggestion right there, if it's going to end in 35, just I would end it in 35 as opposed to trying to stretch it. Be prepared, um, be able to make that minute next time. But I think you're going to get more bang for your buck if you just give me that 35, and I'll say, okay, well, I'll have Keenan fill up the rest of the time because I'll give him more time on that. It felt it definitely turned. I would say maybe a little character driven at the end with the lines that you were giving. I thought that I think that I probably that one that you filmed might have been better on the start. Like you just needed to slow down a little bit, and I thought that your pacing this time was a lot better than that other promo. I thought the pacing and taking your time, not running anything over, was really good. But now let's just go ahead and stretch it because I think you had about a 40-second promo. You stretched it to maybe about 45. But let's try to fix that to fill that time, Coach.
Yeah, you hit a lot of the same points. I feel like you had that grocery list in the middle again of like, I can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. That's another thing that I definitely want to talk about with promo language. Talk about what you can do, because you can get trapped in a whole like, no, what someone's not gonna do a lot. When I came to this business, I told everybody I wasn't going to do this, wasn't going to do that, and I'm not going to be able to do this, and no one's going to be able to do that. Let's do, what can you do though? Let's talk about, because you can talk about all the things that you can't do, or or whatever. Make less is more, especially in that grocery list. I feel like you could have taken more time to give. You had like 5 of those things. Again, you just rattled off like, I can't be pinned, you can't tap me out, da 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 da. Slow down and make them more visually impactful, right? Because it'll get people's attention. And again, allow the audience to think about it and go, oh, fuck, he's totally being, like, it's that level of self-awareness of like, I never thought about that. You know what I mean? And then again, tying it in the beginning, I'd be like, I'm the best wrestler that like can't, that's a great catchphrase line. And you're like, what do you mean by that? Like that kind of thing. So just avoid that grocery list and ripping through it quickly, because I think less is more in that sense. And it ties into what Joey said about how if you give yourself a little bit more time, it allows you to stretch that time and make things more impactful than trying to race at the end and doing a snowball down the hill of like, oh, I'm running out of ideas. What else can I say? So yeah. Cool.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe.
Hellman, thank Joe because he gave you 5 seconds back.
He gave. There we go.
Jeez.
All right. It looks like Kristen's gonna, and then right as we're critiquing these, you should be taking notes on everything. So if Joe makes a mistake, make sure you don't make it. Right. If we're in wrestling class and we have everyone line up, and I'm showing the first 2-3 people how to do it. When you're 4th, 5th in line, you shouldn't be making those same mistakes. You should be taking notes as you're in line. So that all the feedback is actually for everybody to note that down. All right, we got Kristen, Javier, and then Jack coming up. Kristen first.
Kristen, come on now. Don't let me down. You know what you're doing. All right, Kristen, in 3, 2.
Do you have what it takes? That's something I've asked myself ever since I started 6 years ago. You see, when I have a goal in mind, I follow it with stubborn determination. And that's an advantage of being on the spectrum. But there are some disadvantages, if you will. Imagine, if you will, having a job that's painful and confusing because you're bombarded with sounds and smells. Imagine, if you will, being in a locker room and not being able to read social cues properly. Imagine, if you will, just you're too wooden in your movements, on your emotions, because you spent time mimicking that you never felt it viscerally. But know this, my name is Kristen Bell, and I'm going to keep going forward and always improving.
All right.
56. Well, I got about 56 seconds on that
Yeah.
one.
Yep.
Coach, I can already say what's the biggest thing right here.
What did I do?
The if you will. What do you think about that, Coach? I think that became right. It's a known professional wrestling line. I think. I thought that actually after you said that, if you will, that loud one, and you actually came back and you brought it back down. I think you brought back Kristen as opposed to maybe more so of the character that you are.
You leaked. Yeah, your character leaked.
Yes, exactly. I think that because I think when she said "if you will," and then she toned it back down, and then she spoke again, and Kristen came back out, the real you. And I thought that
your ramp up. I saw Auntie Hyde coming out in your ramp up.
and the ramp up was great, but right now we're really trying to pick apart the real emotion of you, of who you are, rather than the character. And we are going to get into the character, and just remember that you may figure out like, hey, dude, me doing me is no good, but me doing the character, right? Me doing voodoo chaos, like I could get that one done. It's a lot easier for me. And you might find that out, but right now we're exploring these avenues of switching these emotions and changing these emotions and really getting the real personality of you, who you are, out on this one, Coach.
Yeah, same thing. Again, you leaked your character. I heard Heidi come out. But I've seen it. That's the thing. I've seen Heidi. So I'm like, oh, there she goes. And I think that there was a level of, I wasn't sure if you were talking about yourself, if that makes sense. You were talking about the concept of being on the spectrum and imagine, if you will, but I really wasn't 100% sure right off the bat if you were tying that into you. Does that make sense? Like, let me tell you of the things that I struggle with. There you go, right? That makes your grocery list have a subject line. Does that make sense? Because there was a point where I kind of got lost in the sauce where I was like, okay, she's going on about emotions and being part of it. Okay, she's talking about that kind of generically. Is she going to bring that home to her? That's kind of where I was at. So that's maybe the importance of having that beginning be the subject line to your email, your verbal email. You know what I mean? So either way, especially with something that you are absolutely bringing to the table, which is being on the, I want to make sure I'm right, autism spectrum?
Correct.
Correct. I was about to say Asperger's. I'm like, no, that's not the right one. Autism spectrum.
It's part of the spectrum.
Right, but I wanted to make sure I had the right A. So if that's something that is, a central part of you, or something you can speak fluently about because you are tuned into that, make that the meat on the bone. Make that the bone of what you're talking about. All these normies out here wandering around, and I have to bear this, hold this staff of autism, right? Like that's your superpower. So try to maybe incorporate that a little bit more and just like part of what you are, tied in is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. I
Cool.
also, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of take a bit to heart something that Fred Rosser had mentioned in an interview that I was studying, that him holding back and being in the closet was kind of something that really kind of shackled him down. And I have a feeling that's also that also was shackling me down because I was trying to pretend to be normal, that it came off as very ingenuine.
There you go. Right. Again, larger than life parts of you become the character aspect that people can latch onto. Right. I mean, think big. You could be the autism hero to people on no, I'm just saying, I'm not even trying to say it like in a comical way. I'm literally like saying, like, kids with autism may be like, she's doing it, right? Be the hero for that 10-year-old Mark fan that you know. Right? I'm not saying you have to be, Captain Autism. I'm just saying, like, in the ways of like owning that as an aspect of your character and being genuine about that, in shoot interviews or whatever. You never know what podcast you're going to be on. They're not going to want to talk to Auntie Heidi. They may want to talk to the character behind the character. So you might, Jake Atlas talked about LGBTQ issues, and Fred Rosters blocked the hate. So he has a social message behind the character that people believe in. Does that make sense? Cool.
All right.
Thank
Thank you,
you, guys.
Kristen. Thank you, Coach. All right. Looks like we got Javier, Jack, and Jamal. Starting with Javier first. Here we go.
All right. Whew. All right.
Wait for Coach to count you down.
Okay.
You let me know, right? Give me a center,
Yeah.
right? All right.
All right.
In 3, 2.
Not being able to walk for the first moments in your life, even past 12 months, is something most people will say is an impossibility. And in my life, I've been filled with that kind of possibilities of not being able to walk and not being able to learn, speak well, and even read well. But I've always proved them wrong. I've always had that chance to prove them wrong. And 5 years ago, I was given a chance to prove all the people who told me that I couldn't wrestle in any mindset wrong, but I failed. And 5 years ago now, I've finally found another chance, which most people don't get a second chance to do that. And with my mom and my dad behind me and all my family, I'm not letting that go, because I'm a Velasquez. My name's Javier Velasquez. And I'm not giving up.
Right on.
58 seconds. What'd you have, Coach?
Yeah, 59, 58, 59.
I think
Fell
I
out of
don't.
his chair.
Did he really?
Yeah.
No. I
Oh.
crumbled in my chair.
I think
Threw
I
up.
think me hitting this, or even Coach Bob hitting this, kind of stuttered you a little bit. You looked at it and you're like, oh man, I gotta bring it home. And then you were saying, I think you had the perfect line to end it with. I'm a Velasquez, I'm Javier Velasquez. But I think you just seeing that kind of really just threw you off a little bit. Otherwise, I thought it was a really good job. You hit your time. We talked about, I think you started with a 4-minute promo, then you came back and gave me a 2-minute promo. And then now you come here and you give me the 1 minute. And I think we still got the same information we needed in this 60 seconds. I thought it was pretty good. I liked the emotion that you were driving it, and I really felt that it came from your heart. Coach, what did you think?
Yeah, it told a story, right? I mean, I got looped into the story of like, well, my brain wanted to go, well, why couldn't he walk? Why couldn't he? What's the story? Now, the best part is you didn't. I mean, I really feel like there was kind of it left me wanting to hope for you, because you didn't go, imagine having all these melodies and this is what happened. You kind of just painted the picture as this like medical underdog in some way, but because of the strength of your parents and your family name, you keep fighting, and you didn't let others bring you down, and I love a good underdog story. So that's what the picture that was painted in my head. Sure, I'd love to so what did happen, and tell me the details. But again, in a minute promo, you don't have the luxury of telling the full story of unless you go, when I wasn't able to walk for the first year because I had this, and I wasn't able to do this because I had that, but I overcame, and because of my family and my mom and dad and the pride I have, and again, you can paint that picture any way you want. I felt kind of cool. I felt kind of like you left me hanging for a good reason, because I didn't want to know the deets. So yeah.
If you want, I was in a hip cast for the first 12 months of my life, and I had surgery in the first 3 months.
That would have been really good to say. Then you would have really painted that picture. I was in that hip cast. I thought that would have been good. So
right, that paints the picture.
Yeah.
In a more, gives people a visual, and allows them, because I mean, it's painting a picture of a little bit of suffering, right, to say the least. Like, oh, I was in a hip cast since I was, for the first 12 months of my life. God damn. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, me and Bob are like, man, he overcame this obstacle. Like, this guy's going to be a contender. You know.
Right.
Thank you, Javier. Thank
Yeah,
you.
great job.
All right. So it looks like Jack, Jamal, and Alexander are the next up. Starting with Jack.
All right, let's do this.
All right.
Do it. Here we go. In 3, 2.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jack Farmer, and tonight I have an opportunity. You see, when I first came into this industry, day one, they shoved a microphone in my hand and asked me to go stand next to wrestlers while they told their stories and they lived their dreams as a part of the Championship Wrestling from Hollywood team. But no one gets into this business to be a mic stand. They get into this business to be in the center of that ring, to have their hand raised high, to be the champion. You see, I've already been put inside of a box. But tonight, I got an opportunity. Tonight, I got a chance. And that chance comes by going through you when I drop that mic.
Woo, 50 seconds.
50 seconds.
A little
yes.
short.
A little bit short. I was a little suspect when he started here. I thought, oh man, this guy's like straight up character. Then I thought, well, maybe this is who Jack is. And then I think I kind of fell into buying it of who you are. I think maybe right, Bob, a little bit over the top.
Somebody went to broadcasting school. Right?
Yeah.
Somebody's been on air talking like a DJ. All right. Now, mind you, there are people that, like myself, sometimes have a natural DJ voice that just sounds like you should be broadcasting at all times.
I love the confidence that you had. You really have that gift of gab to speak. No problem at all. Let me ask you, what was the opportunity again? Remind me.
This is a promo. I'm assuming there's a match or there's something I'm supposed to be selling. So I just said tonight.
Okay. So let's make sure we know where we're going. So in this particular promo, I thought started out great. You told us how you broke into this business, and I love the line. No one breaks into this business to just be a mic stand. I love that line. More from the heart who you are. So you don't have to go in there and sell a match per se. More so is that if you have to sell yourself of who you are and why somebody wants to hire you, maybe why somebody wants to know that you're being introduced in professional wrestling. But that would be the assignment on this promo. So just know right in our notes, you weren't in the class yesterday, but I made sure to post if you have time this weekend, I'd like you guys to go back and watch the class. I posted it in the group, where we have a little bit of tips, right? One of the tips I have here is know your motivation. What's your reason behind the promo? Know where you're starting, know where you're going, know where you're gonna finish. And so those are three main things that you missed in the class yesterday. I think that would help you out tremendously in this promo. Coach, what are some of your critiques that you have?
Yeah, same thing. It's essentially know the direction of where the promo is going. I mean, in the interest of the homework, obviously, but at the same time too, one other thing, the crutch of ladies and gentlemen, right? That's a crutch. That's an overused. I mean, Road Dogg did it. Paul Heyman does it. It's a crutch. So maybe try to introduce yourself instead of being the carnival barker, right? Try a different way. It's all about say the same thing, but try it a different way. So, ladies and gentlemen, is such a. I mean, that's who you are, a broadcaster, right? You want to, project and get the attention of everybody. You did it. Then what? Right? So yeah, it was a little. I was like, Road Dogg, hey, all right. But other than that, yeah, tell the story. That's where that comes from here, and out from here comes from, right? So yeah, just yeah, that's it. It's about. I was like, I'm trying to think of anything else. That's it.
Yeah, not a bad job at all on doing that.
You know how to speak. You know how to talk. I'm not worried about that at all.
Yeah, not at all. I'd be very comfortable giving you the promo and go out there and kill some time for me because, hey, Hyde's not here yet. We got to kill some time.
But realistically, just based on the tone and the way you speak, I mean, if I didn't know you and I heard you do that, I would half consider be like, I need a ring announcer. Can you do that? You know how to do it because you know how to like control your voice. Or even can you be my on-air next guy? Like until you have the voice for that. So now we just got to mold the clay and pull the emotion out and the realism instead of being a broadcaster.
Right.
Right?
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll post the notes for tonight's class, and then make sure to read the notes from yesterday's. And I think they'll have a lot of tips in there to really help you out, because yeah, you already got that voice and that presence and that confidence, so that's already a plus for sure.
Yes, I saw you guys posted it, so I was tomorrow I'm gonna catch up on what I missed.
Okay.
So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
All right, here we go. Coming up next, we got Jamal, Alexander, and Philip. Starting with Jamal.
Mr. Jamal, are you ready? Got that deep breath? Let's do it. In 3, 2.
Life is a string of trial and error, and I've had my share of both. I've scraped and clawed, pushed and pulled, just to end up in the same position I was in when I started. When I say Jamal Simmons, they say missed opportunity, they say wasted potential. I say I wasted a decade of my life trying to do what they wanted me to do, trying to fit everybody else's box, trying to do everything but this business. And all I have left now is this business. No more money, lost all that. No family, lost them. No friends, don't have any. All that's left for Jamal Simmons is the passion. That's all I need, is that passion. As long as I've got that passion, I can't lose.
All right.
That was a great job, Jamal. That was fantastic. I loved it. You were at 55 seconds, so you're right on time. I don't think anyone will complain about that. 55 seconds. I love the story that you told. Really felt that it came from the heart, right? You can't go wrong when you're speaking from the heart. I love the tone, right? I'm over here saying I love those wrestlers that yell. You weren't yelling, but you got me. You got me 100%. You weren't yelling, but it was emotional. And I really dug it. And I love the way you introduced yourself, right? Like even me, I was like, my name is Joey Munoz. You were like Jamal Simmons is wasted potential is what they say. And I love the way you brought it in there. Coach?
Yeah, same. No, clever wordplay. You didn't do the hi, my name is name tag, right? You referred to you as an entity.
Yeah.
When they talk about Jamal Simmons, like you're already the talk of somebody, right? They're talking about you out there. Painted a picture, right? Because the minute you said that, I literally was like, I imagined like a high school gymnasium full of people like, that Jamal Simmons ain't shit. Like, so yeah. And again, painted the picture with the whole, like, I've lost this, I don't have this. So all I've got is the only thing I got. Great. Yeah.
Maybe on the grocery list, you won 1x, you did one too many. Debatable. I think you still got through without it seemed too long. But I thought it was a great job, and you hit your time. Have you cut the promo before, Jamal?
Huh?
Is this what you do? Have you cut promos? You practice some, or this your first one?
I'm a minister, so
Okay.
talking, I kind of have to be okay with it, so.
Okay, yeah, I dug it. I felt that. Yeah, I'm like, this guy's cutting that promo, hitting it. He's hitting
The
his
layer
mark.
of the onion is exposed.
Yes, exactly.
I love
job.
the t-shirts. Yeah. Remember, why am I blanking on his name? Pete Therese and Jag, preacher, right? He knows how to speak from the pulpit.
Yeah.
He knows how to deliver. I get it.
That's good, man. Awesome. Great job. That was really good. You hit it. You hit every note. I look forward to seeing the homework. You're gonna just do got to do this one again, right? And then the homework's gonna be you're gonna do it happy, and then you're gonna do it angry. So that way we can see the different ranges that we're gonna get. So good job, Jamal. Thank you. All right.
All right, Alexander.
Yep, Alexander, Philip, and Omar. Starting with Alexander.
All right, ready? And 3, 2.
Hi, my name's Alexander Smith, and I've been a pro wrestling fan all my life. I've struggled with abuse and neglect all my life, and I've always had the dream of being in pro wrestling because it's always really grabbed me and saved my life. It's really like the only thing I have when it comes to feeling comfortable and being myself. I've never really wanted to be that wrestler, but I have wanted to be that ref. I've always wanted to be under those lights, counting that 1, 2, 3, and calling matches down the middle.
Oh man! All right, I was like,
All right, Alex, we had it. We had it, Alex. You had it. You had it, Alex. You were there. I think it was at 50 seconds. Bob and I both did this. If that was the end it. Like you just needed that exclamation point, that period, that something just to say this is the stamp and this is the ending. I thought you were doing a good job. You seemed nervous. Were you nervous, Alex?
Yeah,
Okay,
very.
you seemed a little nervous, right? How are we gonna break that? Right? It's gonna be practice over and over and over. Practice, practice, practice is gonna make perfect. Practice, practice, practice is gonna get you to that unconscious confidence of just being able to nail that promo.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, it showed a little bit of nervousness, but even beyond that, I thought if you would have just had that 50 seconds, said, okay, I am gonna bring this home. Just seems that you just stopped the promo. It just fell off the cliff. Like, where'd it go? What happened? Because you were doing a good job. Coach, what do you think?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, I can tell you're nervous and anxious, but guess what? The silver lining to that is you got that one out of the way, right? Can't say you haven't done it yet,
Yes, sir.
right? I mean, technically, I haven't met you in person. We're technically strangers, even though I know who you are now. You did it in front of strangers. So, all right, first one's the hardest. I told everybody yesterday, if I see perfection, the only way is down, right? So let's get if you're gonna fail the first time or feel awkward and nervous the first time, like I did the first time I didn't do it, now it's out of the way. Let's mold that clay. I feel like if your main focus as the fact that wrestling brought you, I can hear a lot of heart, but I mean, paint that picture. Why is wrestling the thing that keeps you alive? Why is, if everything's let you down, wrestling's brought me back home. Every time I come back to wrestling, it's like it's like picking up listening to a familiar song or, tied into something like what, if that's your story about, wrestling, everything else is terrible, but wrestling is my love, right? Tell us why. Maybe add a little reason. It doesn't have to be long-winded. It just could be every time I venture away from wrestling, it always lets me down. But every time I come home to that wrestling world, it is like putting on a comfortable pair of jeans and picking up a good book or whatever, however you want to describe what comfort is, because it's comfort food to you,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
Diets suck, but man, I love to eat that ramen noodles. Those are my favorite. They're comfort food. They're terrible for you, but I love them. They're so good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and the maybe talk about how you're the odd duck. Everybody wants to be the top of be the next champion of the the universe. I want to call it down the middle. I want to be the ref. I want to be that the rule keeper. Whatever. However, that may be tied to a personality aspect of maybe you have control issues. I love to be in control, so I want to be the ref.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Got
Alex.
one out of the way. Shake it off. Woo!
Yeah, definitely. All right, coming down to it. Let's see. We got Philip, Omar, Owen, and Justin to wind it down. All right, starting with Living Zed.
Living Zed. All right. In 3, 2.
My name is Philip, and since I was 5 years old, I've loved pro wrestling. That's the very first time I saw it, and even on a small screen on the back of a headrest on an airplane, it still came across larger than life. And that wrestler who came across the screen to me was The Undertaker. The dead man just did things that you could not believe because they were beyond life. But it wasn't until later in life that someone named CM Punk came along, really made me believe that someone like me can do it. You don't have to be a giant to make it in the land of giants. You just need to believe in yourself. And that's the only thing that matters.
All right, 55
Not a-
seconds.
yeah, not a bad job. Let me ask you, Philip, you were in the last class or the first one?
Yeah, the
Last one.
last one.
I think that you been practicing these promos?
Yeah, definitely.
It's right. I can tell, right? It was very robotic last class when you were doing these promos, and here you just felt very comfortable, right? You can't go wrong just telling what you feel and why you wanted to break into this wrestling business. And I thought this was one of the smoothest promos that you've had, especially doing this non-character promo. I thought you did a really good job. And yeah, you hit your time, 6 seconds short, right? Once again, I'll take 6 seconds short over 6 seconds over. Coach?
Yeah, comfort, man. That was probably one of the most conversational promos. I felt like I was talking to a friend. Tell me your story. Oh man, I'm Philip, and here's my story, and this is what I believe in. And you brought in the Undertaker, stirred an emotion. You talked about how passionate it was to see that, and then you turned into CM Punk, right? Again, you painted a story conversationally, which was so refreshing. Because yeah, Coach Joey was telling how it was a little bit stiff and robotic when you were first starting.
Yeah,
And now
definitely
it's
were.
that smooth it out like syrup. Right. So
I'm
yeah.
definitely, I think, just as nervous as I was the first time. My heart's beating 1,000 miles a minute right now, but I know I've done it before and I can do it. So I just said, just do it.
Right.
And that's how I kind of just went with it,
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's part of that comfort will come and continue to grow about tuning into yourself and looking at yourself in the mirror and listening to yourself, and the fact that you're aware that your heart's beating and there's anxiety there. That the acknowledgement of that alone is just that self-awareness will bring down that comfortability level will start sinking in the more you do it and the more you get easy on it. Every time if I have to do a promo, even in a produced promo on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, my heart pitter patters a bit. Yeah, I'm a little anxious, I'm a little nervous, but I try to channel that into well, no, I mean, again, you want to do a good job. That's where my anxiety comes from. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, but at the end of the day, I channel that energy into making sure it comes out in my words and it comes from here and it doesn't just show up on my face like, I hope I get this right. You know what I mean? I turn it into that energy and go, all right, we're just gonna get it. Whatever I have to say. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you'll learn. You're still learning. Everything's great about it. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Philip. All right. So it looks like we're coming down to the end. Omar, Owen, and Justin. Starting with Omar first.
All right, real quick, bear with me. I need to test something because I've never looked into this camera before, and there's like 3 dots.
Oh yeah. Line yourself up. You're looking at me right now.
This is the camera right here.
Yep.
That looks great.
Dot it is. It's too loud. Am I too loud? I don't want to break anyone's headphones.
You sound great to me. Yeah.
Right here. Is this too loud? Okay. It's 3 times 10. That's so I just want.
Hey, no, hey, good thing to know, right? I'll talk about.
I don't want to cheat. Take off the Rose board background. I want to.
All right. Omar, are you ready?
Here we go.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2.
Santino brothers, take a good look at a man who's fed up with himself. Like many people, I was afraid of being myself because others around me couldn't handle it. I'm not afraid anymore. That's their problem. I come from a past where all I did was take L's in life. I don't take L's no more. I have made that decision. But I never forget my shortcomings. I carry them with me because you got to know where you came from to know where you're going. You got to know where you're going to tell people you're coming. Santino brothers, Omar Ali is coming.
Woo!
48 seconds.
I meant to slow it down a little more.
That's what energy does sometimes.
Yeah.
Get it? Right.
That wasn't a bad job. I was looking at it and I was like, okay, it seems very character. Well, maybe that's Omar. Maybe that's who he is. maybe this is him. Um, and I think you actually maybe about 30 seconds you toned it and it seemed more of just regular you were coming out. And that's what I started really connecting with, especially in this assignment on this promo. I thought, but just overall, like not even talking about this assignment, I thought it was a great promo. Facial expressions, emotions in your eyes, emotions in your face. I thought you did a really good job at that. I'd like to see more probably of the real Omar. So maybe saying
So
in a
yeah,
sense,
can we talk
toning
about
it.
that?
What's that?
Can we talk about that? Because I'm having some difficulty because my character, quote unquote, is me. Like to me, that is the motivational voice in my head that gets me through any hardship. And so, like all those things I said there are things that I've said to myself way before wrestling, way before even being in this class. And I just put it together. And like to me, that intensity has to match the message. So that's why I'm sort of having difficulty saying, do I need to tone this down or not? Because
You see how
that's
you're
just how it comes out.
you see how you're talking right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Explaining that's what they want to hear. And that's
Yes.
Is there a difference? Does it sound different?
Yeah, absolutely.
It does?
Absolutely. You
see
All
you
right, that's my
definitely
first
have
one.
passion right now as you're speaking to
Okay.
us. Um uh and remember right here now, just in this assignment, I thought the promo you did was great. Now if you were on my show and you're wrestling and this was the promo you're cutting, I'd be like, okay, we got somebody. I could work with Omar on this 100%. um I think I would just like to write, and I said, hey, you could turn it up to 100. I'm asking you, specifically you, turn it down a little bit for me. I think I'm right. We're going somewhere with this, and we're trying to really bring out the real you. Going back to, I believe everything you said comes from that heart. Everything that you said was a heart because you said it with passion and intensity. I want you now to maybe turn it down a little bit. The same way we are talking to you right now, Coach. What do you think?
Okay.
Yeah, no, I loved your energy. I loved your passion. The first thing that came to my mind was this guy's got a chip on his shoulder. He's got something to prove. He's got some fire. Somebody did him wrong once, and now he's out to tell everybody he's done with that crap. So you conveyed a character message, which was great. So part of me wonders, is that like a side of you that is leaking out? Is that a character aspect that's actually you kind of explained that to us afterwards? Like, no, there's a voice inside my head that brings that's
Yeah, that
me.
literally says that. Yeah.
Great. So this is why I think it'll be interesting to watch you do the promo of yourself as happy, as sad, as angry, because
Yeah,
I feel like I might see 3 different Omars.
Right,
Maybe.
and this may have been the angry promo. Who knows, right? I want to see it happy, and then I also want to see it toned down a little bit, right? Just specifically for you right now. A lot of people have the problem of actually having the problem of turning it up. You don't have that problem whatsoever.
Okay.
You're a good talker. Potentially could be great. I'd like to see some more. I want to see the next 7 classes how actually you're gonna formulate out. But yeah, really good. I love the energy. I thought it was a great job. You did a good job on that one. And
Right.
I look forward to seeing your other ones.
Another fine-tuned thing to pay attention to, and you might want to watch this back again, and other people may want to watch it. Your pacing was great. Like
Okay.
it wasn't
Yeah, I paid real
rush.
attention to that. Yeah.
You made sure to give pauses, and you did it with your hand even at one point. That's what I loved about it, is that you didn't rush through it. Now again, you could have given us a whole 15 seconds more of
Yes.
depth, but in the interest of you're one of the people that I could tell we have to turn down just a little bit because it's there. We just need to
Yeah,
fine
I
tune
feel like
that.
I always want to talk at that level. Just
Right, but you're doing it right now. You brought up the hands because there's
Yeah.
that passion. It's comes.
Changes
I do the
facials.
same thing. When I get passionate, I get the Italian hands, and I get right. I'm very gesticular, so I get it.
all right, thank you. Yeah, that was my first promo ever. It's finally out the way.
Hey,
That was a
I'm
great
excited.
job. Get out of
Wait,
here.
that
That was
was
a
your
great
shut
job.
up. That is not your
Well,
first.
I've been practicing that same promo for a
Okay.
while, but I didn't have that opening line until a couple of days ago. Everything else I had, but that opening line kills me.
Hey, first,
Yeah, good job.
I love hearing the P word, practice. I love it.
Yes. Good
All right,
job,
thank you.
Omar.
Thank you.
Good job on that one. All right, last two. We got Owen and Justin. Owen first.
All right, Owen, where you at? There you are.
Right here.
You ready?
Yeah, let's get it.
Oh, glasses come off. Look out. Here we
Means
go.
business.
All right. And 3, 2.
My name is Owen Brennan, and I'm a changed man. A year ago, you wouldn't want to know this, Owen. Hell, I didn't even want to know me. I was addicted to drugs and alcohol. I couldn't keep my life together. I ended up almost dying. And when I got out of that hospital, I knew something had to change. And that change had to be everything. So during the pandemic, I took my time and I used it as best I could know how. And when this Santino brothers opportunity came up, I grabbed it. I had to. Because from where I was to where I am now, I can say this truthfully. I'm living my dream every day.
All right.
54.
54.
Yeah, 54 seconds. Let's see here. I thought it wasn't bad at all. Let me ask you, were you nervous? A little bit nervous?
Of course, yeah. Fuck
Okay.
you. Because I
Okay.
thought we didn't have to do them until Monday. So I was like, well, here we go. And considering the one that I put in the fucking Facebook group where I was, the crazy guy.
Wasn't a bad job at all. I thought it was pretty good. You're speaking. The only thing I think that it was just you were a little nervous. Also, it looked like your eyes were all over the place, looking all around. That's why I asked, were you nervous? Reminded me of a story that Bret Hart told once, and he has the iconic glasses. Bret Hart does, and he said he was cutting a promo early on as the Hart Foundation, probably when they were wearing blue and black. And he noticed on the promo that his eyes were going all over the place, and they have an opportunity for him to see the promo. So what he did to avoid that, what Bret Hart said he did, is he grabbed a pair of glasses and put them on, so that way they wouldn't show his nervousness. Obviously, Bret Hart overcame that, became better at it, but it also became the glasses became iconic. With Bret Hart. And so that's what he had to do, because that's the same thing I noticed on you. Your eyes were just all over the place. Something to think about, right? If you put glasses on, coach can say, take those glasses off. Everybody wants to put cool sunglasses on. But thinking about that, I'm going to actually post this for everybody to see so that you can actually see what we're talking about, because it's different when we're actually cutting the promo. Coach, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I could tell there was a little bit of nerves. You sold an amazing underdog story, right? Here's somebody who had to come from the ashes of alcoholism and drugs and cleaning, taking the time to cleanse during the pandemic. I mean, you painted a picture and it painted a story. Anybody out there who's ever struggled with any levels of addiction is going to latch onto that. You've given something to bite into, as they say. So yeah, I mean, again, the nervousness, the anxiety, the connection with the eyes will, again, you might want to practice that level of just purposely staring at the camera and trying not to divert. You're talking to me, make it intense. Listen here, Owen, I don't want to hear another word out of your mouth, and I'm staring you down, right? The minute I divert, it's a distraction. So you'll get there. Again, first time, throwing you in the deep. You clearly threw you in the deep end. You swam. So hey.
And
Thank you, coaches.
And even being really harsh on you, saying, hey, you had 5 seconds left. You could have slowed down, paused a couple of right, paused here or there, right? You could have hit that 60 seconds to say, okay, now we're gonna make sure you hit that mark. So think about that for those of us that were at about 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. Pauses, slowing down will really fix that and help everybody out.
Helps you collect your thoughts too.
Yes. Thank you, Owen. All right.
Last but not least.
Yes, Justin is up.
Ooh, you're the main eventer. You're the main event. Oh,
here we go.
He's the closer.
Please.
I love it.
No pressure. No pressure.
No pressure. None at all. None at all.
All right, you ready? Got a deep breath. Ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2.
I've been on this planet for almost 26 years. And from 18 years young to now, I've worked a lot of jobs, more than I can count on two hands. And I've been let go from these jobs because I've always been not enough. Somewhere in my life, I decided to shell up, stop being who I am. But I don't want to do that anymore. I'm a passionate person. When I talk about something I love, I can talk about it for hours. So never ask me a question about anything I love. My employers were always right when they said I wasn't enough. It's time for me to be me. There's one place in the world I know where people are larger than life, which means there's only one place in the world for me. My name is Justin Jenkins, and I belong to the professional wrestling world.
Great job. 57
Right on.
seconds. We had
Yep.
you at, man, Justin. Wait, you're cutting promos all the time or what? What's going on over here?
I will not lie. On my way to work, I will be cutting promos. On my way from work, I'll be cutting promos. I'll be walking my dog, and I will be cutting promos.
Yes.
Is this even before taking this class?
Before taking this, I've been doing this for years.
I can
just talk to
see
myself
right that
all the time.
practice. And I'm pretty sure your first promo wasn't as great as this one. This one was really good. I felt it. I felt the pressure. I liked the emotion in your eyes, the emotion in your face, the emotion that you were expressing and what you were speaking. And I love the story that you tell. I thought it was really good. You were right on time, 57. I don't think I can ask for anything better than that. I guess I could, 56, but it was perfect. 57, I got you, man. We'll fade out with 3 seconds. We got it covered. You know what I mean? Coach, what'd you think?
Yeah, same thing. You painted a picture. I just did a 40-something episode podcast of talking about jobs and leaving them and feeling like that I was too good for them, or they didn't believe in my passion or whatever. So listen, everybody in America has job stories and downtrodden. I wanted to believe in this company, but they didn't believe in me and all that. So paint that picture, because that's the working man story. I love it. So yeah, no, it was definitely a story of believe in me, because I definitely believe in myself when others didn't.
That was
Yeah.
really, really good job, Justin.
I'm glad he was in the main event. Boy,
yes,
we didn't
right. Now the pressure is. Oh yeah. Hey,
we booked this show pretty damn well with that main event or not. Okay.
Great job, everybody, on this. So now we have we're going into the weekend, so we're gonna have a lot of homework, but don't stress it out. Just do one promo a day. Do one promo tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and you're done. And you have all of Monday to even get some more feedback, because I'll as you post them, I will be critiquing them.
Yeah, I will too. I'll go in there as well.
Right. So whoever hasn't posted their 1-minute promo, the one we just did right now, post it. If you want to post it again, I'd love to see it. Then the homework for tonight is going to be that same promo in a happy emotion. Then another promo is going to be the same promo in an angry emotion. Right? So now like hitting our time and what we have to say should be no problem. By the time we did it 3 or 4 times, I'm almost probably going to say, Coach, can I say something else now? And we'll say, okay, after that 4th one, yes, you can. I'll let you explore a little bit more. But really good job today, everybody. I know some of you haven't cut the promo. I'll give you the opportunity on Monday. I know, hey, sometimes we get those butterflies, but if we are going to be a professional wrestler, we're going to have to get past that. In no particular order, the top dogs of the class: Keenan, Joshua, Jamal, Omar, and Justin. So those are the ones that I really dug. No particular order on that, but like I said, we will be going to promo battles, and then we will know the particular order after the promo battles. So let's practice, right? We will have the opportunity to practice before we even submit those promos. Please give me and Coach an opportunity to critique them and post them before 3 or 4 p.m. on Monday. I'd like to see probably one come in every day this weekend, and it'll help you out as you get the feedback for each promo.
Real talk, I have a shoot job that I work 9 to 6 on Monday. So if if you really want to help me, try and get him in before Sunday night, because on Monday the only time I might have to do him is like on lunchtime. So don't turn him in at 3:30 on I'll be like, I can't get to it. I'll get to it the next day. But I have my own homework as well. I gotta give you guys critiques and keep it on the up and up. So
I see we have a couple of questions. We are past 8. Let's officially end it right now for those that are going to have to get out of here, and then we'll answer those questions that coming in. All right, here we go. Santino's on 3. Santino's on 3. One, two, three.
Santino!
All right.
Thank you.
Officially
Awesome.
over. If you can stay, go
See
ahead
you
and
later.
stay. If
Thanks,
if
everyone.
you
I'll
have to
stick
go,
around.
we
Thank you.
understand.
Good night, everybody.
Great job,
Bye.
everyone.
Guys.
Bye.
Good night,
Great
guys.
job,
Thank you.
everybody.
Good
I
night,
just
guys.
was gonna say
Oh.
my one of my favorite parts of the night was just like watching both of you coaches just at the same time, like
Doing this, right? You're right.
you're right next to me on my screen, so it was just like a moment of you both look up and then right back to looking down, and it got me every time, every single promo I saw, and I
Right?
giggled.
I'll throw a Kenta cloth on as well. Just I'll
Right,
get-
and when we do these, I don't know. I think we'll be doing promos next week, but I know officially that following after that, we're going to go back to the promos. Probably not going to have that crutch. You might just get the 5-second go. Guess that's it. That's it. Wrap it up. So yeah. So but yeah, nice observation, Keenan. Thank you. Let's see. Omar had a question, I believe.
Oh yeah, just a quick question. I was wondering, is this video going to be posted in the group?
Yeah, I'll post this the same way I posted the last one. I'll post it in the in the actual group itself.
Thank you.
It'll Coach will go. I think Bob may go over today. I'll probably leave. Coach will still go over, so it may be a couple of hours longer, which will be great for everyone to critique.
Halston After Dark starts
Yeah, Halston.
now.
Yeah, Coach Bob leaves, and it's Halston.
Right.
So yeah, and then Keenan, did we answer your question, or you just wanted to make that comment? Was that your?
Oh,
question?
I just wanted to say that. That was it. I just thought
Okay.
that was funny. That was my thing.
Yeah, and then since we will be posting these, it's going to be the great idea to go back and see it. Right, we might have the notes, but go back and see what we're talking about, and it'll definitely help you out a lot more. Jack, did you have a question?
Yeah, I guess I was more, and maybe this will be answered when I look at yesterday's class, but is there just understanding where these promos are supposed to be living? Because I was just assuming that it'd be like building up to a match or something when I kind of came up with mine. Is there sort of an idea of where this is supposed to live as I'm doing that, if that makes sense?
So this is a promo coming from your heart, right? A non-character promo, just really speaking from the heart. And letting us know who you are and what brings you to professional wrestling. And so most people will start off with, I've always wanted to be a professional wrestler since I was 5 years old. And yeah, so that's going to be the focus of this promo in particular. So I'd like to see it, the regular one, and then I'd like to see the happy one and angry one. So we got about 3 promos, and it's going to be about the same thing.
And the perspective that to keep in mind is the reason why we want to take you out of a character and not be this character yet is because you got to start internally as who's Jack, who's Bob, right? I can become Halston, but to develop that character, you have to learn the inner workings of the real you. And then, as I talked about that yesterday, about how Chris Jericho is very famous for talking about how some of the best characters in wrestling are just bigger extensions of the actual human being that lives within. So to start over with yourself and get a little perspective of yourself that may be a character facet of you. That's why we want to know the real Jack Farmer.
Perfect.
But cut it as a promo. Like, I'm Jack Farmer. This is why I'm in the business, and here's what I'm about. And I've been doing this, and this is where I come from. So that's why I belong. Boom. You know what I mean?
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
And then what really helps you out too is watching, not just submitting your promo, but then watching everybody that submits them. That'll really help out too. So
cool.
All right, and Kristen, did you have a question?
Oh yes, just a quick confirmation. So confirming the 2 promos will be a minute apiece, and we're allowed to do the overhaul based on the notes.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah, 1 minute. 1 minute. Alexander, my friend.
Yes, sir. I was just wondering how I can work on not being so nervous and having that like tunnel vision that I have when I'm cutting promos and trying to get to the point as fast as possible.
A lot of it is just going to be practice, right? Like you hear me, and it seems that I'm very comfortable with speaking, but it wasn't always like this. Like, right? It wasn't always like this. I'd be nervous, and this was just from 6 months ago when we started the Zoom class, right? I go in there and I coach professional wrestling, and I'll talk for 20 minutes, maybe even 30, but never did I have to talk for 6 hours a week. And it just takes practice to really get natural with it, getting, critiquing yourself, being right, because we are our biggest critics. So critiquing ourselves and knowing, right, and then also knowing not only that we're our biggest critics, but we are wrestling fans, so we know what looks good and what doesn't. We sometimes will bullshit ourselves with a story of like it's good enough, but we know if we watch that shit on Raw, I don't cut it. I need to be better, and you got to tell yourself that I got to get better, and I will get better. But a lot of times some wrestlers will just be like, I'm great and I don't need to get better. I don't even need to practice or train anymore. And that's where they become stale and stay the same. So
I will add that we definitely practice, 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 practice. Um, again, we talk about the principle of fear versus love, right? Do you love pro wrestling? Do you want to talk passionately? I guarantee do you have a, outside of wrestling, Alexander, do you have a hobby? Do you have any sort of like collections or hobbies that you really love?
I used to be a bull rider, and so I'm still gonna have that hobby in a sense.
Right. So treat it like bull riding, right? Treat it like that. Do you love doing it? You want to go back to it? It feels good to you. Oh man, I miss the bull riding days. Oh man, before COVID, bull riding was my jam. Oh, I can talk years about it. That's one of my biggest bull. Think about that passion that you could have if I asked you about the most passionate thing that you have in your life outside of wrestling, I guarantee you could naturally and passionately talk about it without me coaching you how to talk about it. So try to transfer that energy to wrestling and to who you are. If you've ever had to apply for a job, you've had to sell yourself, right? You've had to talk about, hey, my name's Alexander. The reason why I love this job is because I have passion. I want to do this thing, and I want you to believe in me. Do the same thing, right? Sell yourself a little bit, and it's the nerves will go away because you have to learn how to take the pressure off yourself, because realistically no one's putting pressure on you.
Right.
I'm not pressuring you. I don't want perfection. I want you to fail so you can learn how to get better. And Joey tapped into that a little bit of like, you're gonna fail, it's gonna happen.
yeah, you want to fail.
You want to fail.
Yeah, failing is like the learning blocks to get to success, right? Yeah, you know what I mean? So you want to fail. All right, no, it's not going to work that way. Let me fix it. So on and so forth. So
right. I will tell you a quick short story. I've been in the business for 3 years, and I carry a fan. It's a clack fan, and I use a hand movement, and it clacked the fan. Have you seen those? You know what I'm talking about? Right. Clack fans. They're big hand fans. For 2.5 years, I never dropped the fan. I point it up in the ceiling and I bring it down, crack, make a big dramatic move with it. Yeah, and I slap it right. It's a promotional for Heather. No crowd, luckily. We're doing a taping for Hollywood up, the full weekend of tapings. I dropped my fan for the first time. Coming out of the ramp, put that thing in the air, and it literally, and I think it was a combination of me hitting it too hard, and I think Heather's arm movement where she swings her arm up might have clipped it a little bit, and I dropped it. Perfection over. Now I know, because I've dropped the fan once. Don't drop the fucking fan. Like I get a little bit more controlled with it, but it's not, oh, I better do this slowly. It's like, okay, pay attention. Don't. All right, there we go. Keep it away from her arms, because I finally failed. And now I know how not to fail, because I figured out why it failed. I was too hard with it, and I was a little too close. So now right? Failure. That's how you learn.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to answer the last two questions, and then I got to get out of here. Coach, were you gonna stay with them?
Yeah, I can stick around. Absolutely.
It's up. Yeah, it's up to you. I know you're.
I'm not going to be as long as I was last night. I went 2 hours and change. I got to be out of here by 9. So.
Okay. All right. Cool. So I'm gonna make you the host officially, and then I got Omar and then Philip, and then I'm gonna have to check out right now, guys. Omar.
Sorry if anyone answered this yet, because I had to step away for a second. But for those of us that didn't upload the promo yet, on its own to the group and did the promo today. Would you like us to redo it and upload it, or what do you
Yes,
think?
please. Yeah, absolutely. Put it up because it's going to be a reference point for you to help you out. So yeah. All right. And Philip.
I was actually, I guess Alex just left. I was just gonna say to help get over nervousness, just to be able to tell yourself, you've done it once now. You know, we did it in this. I wasn't expecting to do it in this class either. I thought for some reason I thought it was going to be on Monday that we did our first in. So I was super nervous, and I just told myself, I've done it before, and even right before I did it, I even did what you guys just said. I told myself I'm gonna shit the bed. I'm gonna fail at this. But then I just still said I've done it. Just do it. So I wanted to say that before Alex left, but he left. Because I know that was something, a real big thing that I had to get over, not just in this class, but when I was a volunteer at the zoo. Just practice, practice, practice. But the reason you practice so you can tell yourself, I've done it. I've practiced this. I've done it. I can do it. You know, so.
And I'd like you to reach out to him and tell him that, right? Because you've gone to this class before, you know what people well, you know what the coaches expect. So if you can provide any kind of help, that say, hey, I was feeling like exactly what he just said, that's probably going to help him out. Because I assume if when you were nervous last class and someone came to you and said, hey man, this will help you out a little bit so you don't have to be so nervous, it would have probably made you feel a little bit comfortable. And now you got someone on your side rooting for me, because it always feels good when someone's rooting for you. Because I think we just kind of go into it thinking everyone hates us and everyone's against us. So it's always a great idea when you feel somebody rooting for you on that, guys.
Totally. Cool.
So, all right, guys.
Thank you, guys.
I'm going to take off. Coach Bob will officially take over. And everybody have a great weekend. I look forward to seeing the promos coming in, guys. All right, everyone.
Have a great weekend, Coach.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you, Joey.